Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. YouTubers on the rise, reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Long Post 1975, and welcome to the first video in what I hope to be a series of, well, videos in which I take a look at the SEGA Arcade ports to the ZX Spectrum. Now, it's safe to say that SEGA Arcade machines were easily the most impressive in the arcades when it came to the sprite scalers, particularly the racing games and the flying games such as OutRun, Afterburner and Space Harrier, and they had absolutely no right whatsoever to be ported with any level of, well, competency to the ZX Spectrum, but they were, and in some cases, well, better than others, but also, well, just punching way above their weight. So in this video, part one of SEGA Arcade games on the ZX Spectrum, I'm going to be taking a look at the sprite scalers, but specifically the racing games. This is kind of, you know, there's no sort of timeline for these videos, it's just something I thought could be a bit of fun, because talking to a couple of people at work when I, started talking about the ZX Spectrum, and then showing them sort of SEGA Arcade games, said, you mean to tell me a machine with 48K and or 128K of memory stood any chance of bringing these games home? And I said, yes I can. So there'll be this video, then there'll be the sprite scalers, sort of like the flying games, I guess, Galaxy Force, Afterburner, Thunderblade, Space Harrier 2, and then there'll just be their standard arcade games, whether they're top-down, sort of Gauntlet-style-esque games like Alien Syndrome, or running side-scrolling shooters such as Shinobi and Alien Storm. Anyway, so let's get into it. Now, this was the first game that kind of started the trend and how they would actually port these games to the Spectrum. That would be 1987's Enduro Racer by Activision. My brother got this. All the magazines, at least on the Spectrum, went absolutely nuts for this, for how good it was, visually, the speed that it conveyed, and simply being able to convert a dirt bike racing arcade machine, obviously, the one that had a handlebar, well, no, had the whole front half of a dirt bike mounted to the arcade. I remember playing it in Westwood Ho. And so, yeah, when this came to the Spectrum, we were all absolutely blown away. It's by Activision, and this sort of monochromic, with the colour, all the details and the objects and sprites are in black, but the actual colour of the background, and that's it, was, changed per level. And yeah, everyone seemed to use this template when they did these games. Some of them did it better than others, and also, point being, most of these games are made by the same companies, and there was a scramble to license these games, not just because of how popular Sega was in the arcades, but what this did when it got released. Now, never said I was any good at these, been a while, let's get into it. So we got to set the controls up. Right, so let's set controls, change control, redefine keys, space. Right, this is a bit, exit, we want down cursor. So, right, throttle or accelerate, you got or space, clear it, A, and then wheelie, space, clear it, M, left, space, clear it. I'm just saying out loud to make myself do it and not fuck up. Brakes, right, pause. I think I'm probably just resetting controls I've already set. Right, so there we go, exit, and right, one player start game. So yeah, dirt bike racing game. Initially set this sort of well, the standard for how they did it, as I said, but also everyone going batshit crazy to import all the Sega sprite scaling racers, because Activision showed you that it could be done, at least on the Spectrum. Commodore version of this is terrible, but it's not that sort of video. Right, so here we go. I'm in the middle. Right, or your standard Sega sort of display for speed, time, things like that are all at the top of the screen. M is wheelie. You need that because look at it, this is so smooth. Wait till you see the undulation effect and the way the road, here you go, dips. This, I mean, the Chase HQ, which has nothing to do with this video, proved that it could be done. Brake and get back in, like really super smooth and stuff like this. But this was before then, and this showed you that, Spectrum could handle really fast, smooth graphics, especially, you know, look, I just think the undulation, and also it's my favourite word in the world ever. It's fantastic. Hold M, jump the objects, because the objects will slow you down and knock you off your bike. Does a pretty damn decent, fair representation of the arcade. I'm not helping it by being shies and balls at it. Right, what's my time? But well, you come off your bike as well, and if you disappear, probably for the best. But just in the arcade, you would obviously pull back on the handlebars to do that. Clear the objects. You hang off your handlebars and stuff like that. This is. Didn't press M then, so you can see that's why I didn't get any decent air. About to run out of time. To be fair, I can never really make it past level 2 anyway, when I first played this. Ooh. And we've made it. Oh, look at that for a little bit of cheekiness. Now we've got other road users. Could argue, putting a Jeep against bikes and dirt tracks a bit unfair. They twat me, they're fine. I twat them, I'm dead. Oh. Although I said that, I just drove through 2 rock faces. You got that nice little bit of skyline in the background, but music's a bit pants. Obviously, much like real life, you can't change your direction while you're in the air. There you go, I thought I'd help all you bike riders out there. But it is hard. But it just looks so nice. Again, I got my Spectrum Retro Vintage goggles on, so everything looks nice on the Spectrum. But balls, it just looks so nice. Now this is just me showing you these games, so you know, don't expect me to be fantastic at them, because I'm not. But again, look at that. Look at it march, look at it. Oh, I have no idea how I did that. Who greenlit this road? Seriously, why am I paying road tax when there's a road with friggin' rocks, trees, well, the ramps, I mean, no, to be fair. They're quite useful. So anyway, that was Enduro Racer. Let's have a look at, these are in no particular order, but let's have a look at Power Drift. So here we go with Power Drift on the ZX Spectrum. All these games are released on all the usual suspects, and I have gameplays of them before if you're curious of what the Commodore 64 versions look like, but this isn't about it. So Power Drift was a dune buggy racing game, and it had, you know, the road effects, because it had a kind of roller coaster effect going on, with just unbelievable and through the roof. It was a big step up over the graphics of OutRun because of said roller coaster, and it was ported by, I believe, Activision to the home micros, and the Spectrum version got pretty decent reviews. I believe it was released in 1989. I want to say the arcade game was released in 1988, but yeah, it's just a really interesting roadster. And again, I mean, forget about OutRun and stuff being ported. Power Drift was on a whole other level. So let's get into space. Wanna set my key. Hey, look, does a little bit of trying to scale the titles there, but right. 5 defined keys. This is a 1 to 8K version as well. Some of these are only 1 to 8, but I forget which ones. So you know, look it up. Go crazy. Accelerate, change gear. I bought 1, I bought 2, and C for pause. Now you have to come better than 3rd to pass to the next stage. So you thought I sucked at Enduro Racer? Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. 0 start game. We're on keyboard. Right. So you select your driver. I'm gonna go with him, because that's who I was as default, and I've only ever played it with the default driver. But look at them, they're all so happy to be in a 1 to 8K Spectrum game. Oh, hang on, I've got to select the track, have I? Yes. Right, be 3rd or better to continue. Who said winning was important? Smaller graphics than, you know, lots of races at the time, but you got to remember, there's a lot of stuff going on, particularly with the people at the top of the screen and stuff like that, whether it affects the... Right, I'm in high now. I always forget to do that. Ooh, told you, dune buggies. Yeah, whether they know them at the top of the screen affects the... Like, I don't know how much stuff is going on, but there's a lot less slowdown than there are in games coming up, I should say. But, yoink. I think it looks really nice. And also you've got these massive scaling, well, scaling's too strong a descriptive term, but roller coaster ramps and stuff like that, which were just, there was nothing like this racing game wise on the Spectrum, and I don't think there was towards the end. I mean, I guess like Stunt Car Racer, but that was actual 3D wireframes. Right, remember to change down, right, straight away. I don't know what position I am. I'm 4th. I'm not 3rd. I'm 5th. Again, I'm not 3rd. the roads are really, really cramped. But yeah, I think this is nice. Oh, change up. My bad. I always forget. See, once you come from games like Enduro Racer, then you jump onto this. Gears sort of a second thought. Well, they are to me. I just get used to it. What can I say? Where am I now? I don't know. I can't see it because of the poor choice of colour palette. Yoink. Never saw a power drift cabinet in the arcades back in the day. Only saw screenshots in magazines and pictures of the actual cabinet, and it blew my friggin' mind. Ooh, dab the brakes. Go left. Bollocks. I think I balls that up. Did I balls that up? I don't know. I balls that up because I can see that she got third. Left. Oh no, I'm still going. My bad. Look at me. Look at me writing my race off. Oh, I started high as well. Something you got to, you know, pay attention to. The sound could use a, for a 128K only game, or maybe it wasn't, but this is the 128 version, could really use a kind of a dusting of better soundage, if you will. Right, let's have another go. Let's have another go before we jump to the next game. Continue. Oh, screw it. Let's continue. Fire. I know, I got you the first time, right. Remember your gears, Dave. I do like that little start light that comes down like that. I'm not really sure when I should change to maximise my acceleration, but that seemed to work quite well. So yeah. I mean, I'd argue it's probably not as smooth as Enduro Racer, but then Enduro Racer doesn't have these absolutely fuck off big ramps, does it? And trust me, fuck off big ramps when you've only got 40k of memory, they can really ruin your day. Yoink. I never knew until someone told me, or a magazine or a review or someone said that you're in dune buggies, what these things were supposed to be. Dune buggies or carts? It might be carts, actually, to be fair. Dune buggy carts. Can you combine them both? Mini mopes? Mopes? Is it mope? I don't know. They were dune buggies. Ooh. Where is everyone else? Oh, there we are. I just want to make sure that I was actually... Oh, you pus bucket. I was actually progressing then because everyone seemed to piss off for a massive amount of time. But yeah, Enduro Racer smoother. A little bit more going on. It changed up. Oh, I'm so bad with gears. And I've only got 2 of them. Go on the outside. Go on the outside. So for, you know, it does capture the feel of the arcade machine. Something it really had no chance, or should have had no chance of doing. Is it my favourite racer on the Spectrum? No. But then technically my favourite racer on the Spectrum's not even in this list. This is SEGA. Sorry, I'm waffling. Yoink! Playing with a keyboard on my lap, it is really cramping my hands. And my style. As a dune bugger. Is that the phrase? I don't know. Take part in a real motorsport. Sorry if you dune buggy. Hey! I won. Look at that. Did I win? No, I didn't. For a second. I don't know. No, I didn't. I can't even read the screen. Oh, no, I did. You should have gone with a different colour there. It would have made more sense. It's a little bit awkward for me to read. Anyway, let's jump into... there's 3 left. Let's jump into Super Hang On, which is obviously the sequel to Hang On, and... Change up, you muppet, Dave. Another bike racing game, this time by Electric Dreams. Possibly I should have told you all that information during Super Hang On. Oh well. So here we go with Super Hang On. This was released in 1987. Let me just skip that. Oh, stages. That's the actual music. That's the actual 128K music. So this was released by Electric Dreams in 1987 and based on the arcade machine of the same name that I believe was released in 86, which is an upgraded version of Hang On. So it's a power bike racing game. The Sinclair User magazine and all the actually Sinclair magazines at the day gave this like, because it was released in time for Christmas, it was going to be their big Christmas game on all the usual suspects. But yeah, all the Spectrum magazines gave it really good reviews. Now, it does something quite interesting. If you look there, it says attribute inks on or off. So it colours your bike. There you can see me in the middle, but obviously causes attribute clash, which it references. Or you could turn it off and be monochromic. None of these other games did that, so I actually thought that was kind of cool and really did actually like it. Right, so where is it? We got to define keys. Right, hang on, space. Oh, actually, no, we're going to go with Kempston, because from my experience with this, it's easier on joystick than it is on keys. So, right, starts me as Kempston by default, and then fire, which is on the joystick, start game. So, anyway, and you've got turbos in this. See what I mean about with Enduro Racer, all the stuff. Oh, I'm looking at the top of the screen. Is it the top of the screen? But, oh, this is really weird on joystick. Right, so I'm accelerating. Obviously, I had handlebars, so it had an analog control, didn't it, in the arcades, which you have to tap on the joystick. And the problem with it, and the same with keys, is you have to lean forward constantly, which means when you're turning, shit finds your face. You've got different, look, I've got turbos now. I'm Street Hawk. Different objects in the background have different colours, which is kind of unique for a game like this. Normally they're just the colour of the background, or black against the colour of the background, so that's kind of cool. This is not easy on joystick, but yeah, and the sound's a bit crap as well, but look how quick it is, and there's loads of bad guys, the right descriptive term for opponents. I don't even know. You can let go of the turbo now, Dave. Oh yeah, maybe I'll have a go at this on keys. This is, oh, nice bit of undulation. That was the difference between Super Hang On and Hang On in the arcades, wasn't it? I believe. Right, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong. Right, so sensitivity, maybe we should do that. Maybe I should get a white stick. Maybe I should try it on keyboard. Are you going to give me keys? Of course not. I hate it when they did that, especially as late. Q up, A down, O left, P right. It's 1987, not letting me define keys? Right. Z? Really? Z is afterburners? Yeah, this is an impressive game, but it's so hard because of the overly sensitive nature of how you turn. I think my best go on this ever was just getting to level 3 once, back in the day, and now as an adult. See what I mean? Nice idea though, nice touch I should say, that they let you have a coloured bike. Maybe it's so if you all park your bike in the car park that is this game, you can actually find yours. Go on the outside. Come on, corners. I don't like corners. They hurt my face. Oh, come on. Extended play. But still the same stage then, eh? Turbo. Who remembers Street Hawk? Was it just me? I'm going for a Mackie dip in the road. Ooh! Listen to that, my bike's going to blow up. This is impressively fast. Again, none of these games are as smooth or as impressive as Chase HQ, but some of them just have a little bit more scope on what's going on the screen. That will make sense when we try OutRun. Oh look, I spoiled it. And there's a game I forgot to mention, so there's an extra one we're going to have to tack onto this list. Super Monaco GP, in case you were wondering. Right. I do like the fact, I'm guessing if you turn the attribute colour off, then the background colours aren't, well, they go back to being, oh shit. Well, not go back to being shit, being the same as the background, I guess you could argue, or the same as everything else. One and the same thing, really, isn't it? So, let's have a look at, let's have a look at Super Monaco GP. Oh dear lord, this is Super Monaco Grand Prix, or Grand Prix, as Ickle Dave used to say. It was a sprite scaling in-car view racing game from back in the day, and a sequel to the original Monaco Grand Prix, which was a top-down racing game. Never played that, never saw this, another one I never ever saw. I think my first experience of it was on the SEGA Mega Drive, but since playing it in emulation, I can say, well, none of these games really should have been possible on the Spectrum. Some are done better than others. This really shouldn't have been possible on the Spectre. She's a mermaid, I think. She's got to be a mermaid. So, anyway, let's get into this. Right, one redefined keyboard. It's 1 to 8. I think it's only 1 to 8K. Gear. Right. Oh, A class, B class, accelerate, brake, gear up, gear down. Oh, no, no, no. We're just going to use accelerate and brake. Yeah, so that's on all versions, I believe. Obviously, it didn't show you a nice joystick like that. Happy with your controls? Yes, mermaid. Yes, I am. Right, again, on all the usual micros. Loading, please wait. Start tape. Right, it's really garish colours and quite hard to tell what's going on, but it's qualifying. So it's a circuit racing game. And you've got to remember, that's kind of difficult to do in sprite scaling. I'm talking about the arcade here, but yeah. Count you down. Now, your governors are at the bottom of the screen this time. We are in car. It's kind of small and stuff like that. As you was gone, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. Roadside objects are kind of a little bit like super hang-on, as in they're coloured. But you've got a rear view mirror, which has to affect the performance. But anyway, as I said, there aren't any cars on this track, any other cars I should say, because... Oh, I'm qualifying, but it moves rather quite quickly. And there's a lot of stuff on the screen. It's only got its chugging moments, but it doesn't chug like OutRun and stuff like that. Oh, did I just realised I got to shift up? My bad. But yeah, this is actually quite impressive. You've got to remember, what other in-car games were there on the ZX Spectrum? There was the legendary checkered flag, spelt with a Q. I don't mean instead of the C, obviously. But Nigel Mansell, which was officially the last ZX Spectrum game of all time, officially, released in 1992. But yeah, I think this is really rather quite impressive. As I said, in the arcades, doing laps and sprite scaling was, or giving you some indication of a circuit, was rather difficult. It did it, the arcade machine. I mean, Power Drift kind of did it before, but yeah, it was an insanely powerful, insanely in your face cabinets in game that just, like, again, no, there's no reason this should have been even attempted on the Spectrum. But US Gold, they did it, and they did it really rather quite well. He says, until we get to, well, I'm determining my pit place. Not pit place, my race place. Never mind. But yeah, this looks alright. This looks really rather quite nice and Jim Dandy. I have no idea. Oh, I was just going to say how I haven't hit anything yet, but I have. Am I in low or high gear? Where's low or high gear? Lap time. Yeah, this is, I think, again, if you haven't played Spectrum, then you're probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about, Dave? But I think this looks rather quite impressive. I'm third. Well, slap me sideways and call me Susan. Right, get ready, driver, prepare to race at France. Same place, not qualifying anymore. That's a bit garish, but it's mixing it up and it's trying to give you the arcade experience. Countdown, car in front of me, to the right. I mean, other racing games like this, but not in car view, like stuff like Continental Circus. I think it was a typo, and it should have been called Continental Circuit, but that wasn't in car. But yeah, look, Chunky, look, there he is. Oh, come on. That's rather impressive, I feel. That's rather impressive. Yoink. Brake. Oh, shies and balls. Yeah, it's chugging. It's not OutRun chugging. Oh, have I got out of sync again in the order I'm doing these videos? But yeah, this is, again, does it gives you, I guess, same with OutRun. Well, OutRun looks more like the arcade, but as does Power Drift, Enduro Racer, so hang on. But it gives you the feel, you know, that they gave you the arcade game at home. And US Gold weren't always, as we'll see, that competent with arcade ports, but this, I'm actually rather quite, it's the first time I played this. Balls! First time I played this, sorry, not balls, in ages. There he is in my rear view mirror behind me. Do you have a rear view mirror in Formula 1, or is it just wing mirrors? Oh, checkpoint. Oh, game over. Oh, bollocks. But, right, let's have one more go. I think, again, it has no right to exist on the Spectrum in any form, and you could argue, well, it doesn't look like anything like the arcade. But then you could also, by the same phrase of the tongue, say that the Mega Drive doesn't. I don't think I have that. Why am I pressing gear then? I don't think I have gear. Do I? I'm looking around the screen, I'm scared. Well, I'm going 300 kilometers. I would... Sorry, why can't we have that in miles? I'm English. Yeah, this to me, especially the different colour in the sprites on the side. It may not be scaling one, but they're still sprites. There's a lot going on, and it's doing rather quite well. I've got no Scooby what the magazine reviews were for this. There we go. Sound could be a little better, but oh, undulation, rather quite nice. Yeah, this to me is just another example of a game that should not, I keep saying that, exist on the Spectrum, but looks rather quite Jim Dandy, even though I'm sucking at it. What is 300 kilometers an hour in miles, otherwise known as real speed? Oh, I'm qualifying again, aren't I? I just realised, sorry, my bad. Oink. Oh, that's kind of cool. That little... If I do qualify, let's see what the sound effects are. I didn't notice last time when they whizzed by me. Again, you're looking at this, you've been up the ZX Spectrum, and you're thinking, this looks like ass hat, Dave. I'm sorry. I like that. I like the cityscape in the background. Obviously, you're not going to have feel like you're driving through the city because of the power of the Spectrum, but then, let's be honest, you never got that on the Mega Drive either. Although this is not a Mega Drive video, but I will say this is the Mega Drive version of Monaco GP. Or Monaco. If you saw that Van Damme movie, you know what I'm talking about. Didn't do it either. But it's a better game. Ooh. I don't feel the controls are as tight as they should be in this. But yeah, again. That's terrible, wasn't it? I'm quite impressed with this. That's terrible, but screw it. One last go in the actual game before we crack into the race. So we take 2 people, Dave. Oh look, my position's top left. Blue. Look at him! Switching all over the road. Flashing. Passing. Oh, there we go. I do like the fact that you got to understand, for a machine with such little grunt, that a rear view mirror is actually really kind of impressive. Dabble with the keys, Dave. Dabble. Oh, with the keys. Bit of chug in there. I have no idea how I missed tire wall. Or sporadic tyres. There we go, checkpoint. That's the overtaking noise. Yeah, do you know what? Again, I'm actually really, you know, nostalgia aside, and rose-tinted nostalgia goggles or retro goggles, I'm actually kind of impressed with this. And you can, I should have been doing it before now, read the indications on the roadside on where you should actually be, you know, on the corner coming up, I should say. Ooh, squirrely, squirrely. Don't go away. Don't go away, I want to overtake you. So yeah, you know what? Do you see 2 on the screen at once? I don't think you do. Apart from me and him, that counts as 2, doesn't it? Ooh, no, brake. Oh, look at that. So yeah, another perfect example of the Spectrum actually giving you, if you're a kid, a game you wanted from the arcades. A sprite scale. No, you don't! A sprite scaler on a ZX Spectrum. Super Monaco GP, I guess you could argue in this video, the most difficult of the sprite scalers to port. The most impressive of the arcade games. Well, do you know what? This little bucket of joy still just keeps impressing me. Anyway, on to... Oh, look, there's 2! I stand corrected. Let's pass 2. Oh, 3! Okay, this is impressive. Let's crack on to... Is there any more? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else want to be passed? I don't know where to look on the screen to see how I'm doing lap-wise and stuff like that, or time-wise, because I know I'm just going to fly off. I'm just going to say pitch. It's not sports, Dave, although technically it is. And shit will find my face. But yeah, I have to say, once again, quite impressed. Let's plow into the next game, I feel. So this is OutRun. This is possibly Sega's most famous and most iconic sprite scaler, and this is generally considered to be a really bad port on the ZX Spectrum. I had it back in the day. We had a 48K machine initially when we had it. This is the 128K version. Listen to that great music. So what you did on the 48K version was you had the level split across 2 sides of a tape, then you had a second tape that had the arcade music, and you were encouraged to stick it in a cassette recorder and play it when you raced. We then eventually got 128K machine, and I absolutely loved it. I know there are people out there who are fans of it. I know Bazzer H really likes it. But yeah, people complained about the speed and stuff like that, and I think it didn't help because what had happened was Sega released screenshots in previews and magazines where, and on the back of the case, lots of the other vehicles were far bigger than they actually are in the game. And but you'll see what I mean when we do that. But this is probably the better of the 8-bit micro ports, at least anyway. Right, now, right off the bat, you can see you got your standard sort of Sega information going on at the top of the screen. Stages at the bottom right-hand corner. Acceleration, oh, change gear. bottom left-hand corner. So yeah, it's slow, but look, I'm going to go on the other side of the road. Look at the scope and the size of the roads. I've got this on medium, so you get to see lots of traffic, which is probably not going to help its speed at all. But look at my car. The car is fantastic. The undulation is great. People have said, why don't you dick around with the emulation settings and speed it up, and so it plays more like it should do. I want to play it as factory defaults. I mean, it gets a lot of flack, but I mean, I just think about it. OutRun on the ZX Spectrum. We haven't seen any trucks there. What I was talking about when some of the objects are clearly smaller than they said they were, i.e. they're the same size as all these Beetles, because apparently every freeway in North America just has nothing but Beetles on. Right. Where do you see the split in the road? I say that out loud if I get there. We'll play the sequel after this, which rectifies the speed issues, but has a whole bunch of problems inherent to itself, but come on, where's my time? I don't want to look around. That just kills me, but look at my car! The car is a fantastic representation of the arcade. Balls! Chase down. Stop spinning. She won't get out. Who else does she know who's got a Ferrari? No one. Change up. Yeah, so you know what? A little slow and sluggish, but fuck balls. He just teleported from the right directly into the left in front of me. Change down. Yeah, it's just the fact that the roads are massive. All other racers didn't have this sort of dual laneage. Is that a real term? It is now. I'm going with it. And also the music's fantastic. Undulation. Oh, I didn't change up. That's my bad. If there's nothing on the screen, it goes slightly, you know, better. No, you don't. Beach huts. How you could fit in them, I do not know. Are we going to split the road? Get back on. It doesn't seem to be... Oh, fuck balls. It's fickle with the gears as other ones. Time's on 11. Oh, come on. Get off this stage. Please. Just for the purpose of this video. Oh, there we go. See, obviously, that's a 128k thing. You won't get out on the 48k. You have to literally load the next level in. There's the trucks. Change the cars. So, good luck, you know, progressing through the game on the 48k version. Change gear. I never made it to the end, obviously, as a kid. I'm sure there are full runs of it on YouTube. I would bloody coca. I don't even know what car that's supposed to be. So there's the infamous lorries that are ickle. Different music. Again, very nice music. Now you're not actually racing on sand. It's just use a different colour to portray stages. But it certainly feels like you are. Right. Now, controls are actually quite tight as well. I sincerely doubt I'm going to progress, but that's not the point. I just think, you know, for all its faults, if you think about what this is doing and how it didn't... It could have just done a really small, narrow little road. But that wouldn't have been OutRun, would it? Change down. And like I said, this fares certainly a lot better than the change up other 8-bit microports. Apart from the Master System, but obviously no, Master System had a little grunt than the ZX. A lot more grunts than the ZX Spectrum. Oh, brake! Again. Freeway? I mean, road tax? Oh, there's a split in the road, that's what I meant. See, on the Master System, games like that, and the PC Engine would have that weird flickery thing that made you want to have a seizure. This doesn't. Yeah, I think this is, again, I'm probably, oh, third stage. Didn't change colour. I'm probably, you know, oh, look at this. When did it turn into Smokey and the Bandit? Probably, you know, on my own, or in a group of very small people, a very small group of people who rate this as highly as I do. Is it the best in this list? Definitely not, but that's not the point. Does it have the most nostalgia for me in this list? Absolutely. Change up. I mean, like when you change up and the smoke and stuff comes out your car, or your tyres smoke again, that's epic. I'm sure there's a bunch of people look at this and just go, dude, this is ass. Like I said, we'll get onto Turbo OutRun, its sequel, next, which addresses some of the issues but comes up with a whole heap of problems of its own. Change down. Right. My time's alright. I don't remember the time being so forgiving. But yeah, like I said, playing a tape and your cassette recording stuff back in the day, just a whole bunch of nostalgia for this. And obviously, OutRun, and I only ever saw in the arcade, or played in the arcade, change up, you Muppet Dave, you know, articulated, is that what it's called? Cabinet, electronic, moving, yeah, just, I could see through, you know, like, through its faults, and just say, oh, you're OutRun, because this is before I had my Master System. Chugging along a bit slowly now, but yeah, like, I run it home, change up, Dave, again, give me gears, and I just go to balls. Oh, see? Well, maybe because I've seen very few Ferraris up close. If you park them next to a big fuck-off wagon, they are actually that big. They're pretty big wagons, Ferraris. How many fucking trucks are there on this road? And obviously special mention must go to the music, especially like the change. I don't know, does it tell me if I'm in low or high? I can't see where it would say that. Or should say that. It would help. Right, oh, I don't think we're going to be getting to the next stage somehow. I don't think my left hand can take it. Don't play a game with a keyboard on your knees. It's not ideal. Oh, well, I think you get the point. Not everyone likes it. I might be in a very small minority when I say I like it, but to me this was OutRun when I first got it, and not the best game in this list, but definitely one of my favourites in this list. 8 seconds. Yoink. See, let's just write the time out. I think half the time it's been chugging. Oh, it's chugging anyway because I wasn't changed up. My bad. Brake, brake, brake. Oh, come on. And he's out. So let's have a look at our final game in this list, Turbo OutRun. This was obviously by US Gold, and so was Turbo OutRun. So here we go with Turbo OutRun. We're going to be playing this on joystick. I've got to go. It starts off like this. Maybe it's a tap file thing. Go straight to auto because it's so hard in manual. It's followed to OutRun. There are no split stages. It's basically just straight A to B racing. Look, this is how quickly they changed my gear over. You're in a Ferrari F40 this time and not a Testarossa. Probably should have said that when I played OutRun, and you have a turbo, which is top right. Use it too much and it overheats. US Gold again. I bought it, there's no gears I think because I'm in auto, so otherwise it would just be up or down. I bought it in the Virgin Megastore, and they gave me a fuck off massive die-cast Ferrari F40, which is cool, and I still have, because I don't know why I'm going to tell you this because I could never afford one, but Ferrari F40 is my favourite Ferrari of all time. Now, they fixed the issue. There are speed issues. You will get to it. Turbo gauge is bottom left. There are speed issues, but for the most part, this runs so much better than the original OutRun. However, let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you worked out the fault I was going on about, your car is so big that you can't see directly in front of you, which is kind of a big problem if you're playing a racing game. Now this is the 128K version, so it loads all levels in at once. If it was on a 48, it would have been a multi-loader. I keep forgetting I got a turbo, and then I do the opposite where I keep overusing it and it overheats. Now I think that's deliberate because in the arcade you had an opponent and they were old Bill, and they try and box you in and force you off the road and stuff like that and generally ruin your day. But yeah, so I mean, aside from not being able to see directly in front of me, I think the graphics are really, really, really nice. The stupid view overheats is a pain. There he is, he's ramming me. Cheeky bastard, he's ramming me. Porsches, personal pet peeve of mine. Again, I can't even afford one. You know, it's when people call them Porsche. Oh look, there we go. Washington. I don't know if there's weather conditions like there were in the arcades, but my turbo's back. It's got nice music, 128K music. It's not as good as OutRun because the machine, the tunes in Turbo OutRun were just not as good. Now I did see a cabinet once in the arcades. It was just a stand-up cabinet, and I was kind of impressed with it because it is better graphics than the original OutRun, but it just doesn't have the kind of that. Just you got to remember, OutRun blew blew everyone away when they first saw it in the arcades, and it just the second one just didn't have that kind of cool, laid-back, cruising sort of feel to it. And maybe that's what they went with. Look, knocking shit out of the way like it's Chase HQ to make it sort of more aggressive. But my God, see, I mean, it does chug in places, but considering the number of cars on it, my shocks must be fucked. it's keeping up a reasonable pace. Again, none of these games are Chase HQ, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about Sega games, having Sega games ported to the ZX Spectrum. I mean, you've got to remember, none of these games on this list have any sort of right to exist, we'll go with yes, on this machine, because 128K was basically just levels got all loaded and better music. You know, when it came to graphics and performance, that was just, you had 48K. So, to get these sort of machines from all these games into this machine, it in itself is just insane. It's absolutely fantastic. And so that's why I wanted to do a Sega video. Because obviously I like Sega games, and that's why this one's first. Of all these types of games Sega made, I think it's the Racers that left the biggest sort of impression upon me. So, anyway, I'll wrap up this video. I'd love to know what you think, particularly if you had a ZX Spectrum game and you experienced all these amazing sprite scalers and particularly racers in the arcades back in the day. And were they fine? Did they do it for you? Were they good enough ports? Or were you disappointed and just wanted more? Or like me, accepted the fact that, well, you know, I want a solid gold toilet, but it's just not on the cards. Points flicker up. Overheat. So yeah, as always, love to know what you think, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. I was back. Bye. Ooh.